Hi, it's me, Lisa Marie. Today is Friday, and we are going to continue reading in our book, The Bariatric Code by Dr. Stephen Reyes. Helps if I have the timer. And we are picking back up in the preface or the introduction on page 14 in the Roman numeral. And here we go. Amy would explain to Sarah how her doctor addressed her concerns about safety. She learned that statistically, bariatric surgery is safer than any other routine surgeries people have every day. Amy told how she spoke with her husband about it, and though he didn't quite understand everything about weight loss surgery in the beginning, she knew he would support anything that would improve her health. Amy decided to start the process toward surgery. Hey, Karen. Making various medical appointments and jumping through all the hoops. And then her bariatric coordinator informed her that she needed a psychological evaluation. Amy remembered saying, "A psych eval? But I'm not crazy." Her coordinator chuckled and assured her that it's nothing to fear, a standard protocol, and it's a requirement that reputable bariatric programs always include. Amy would go on to tell Sarah about her psychological assessment appointment, a first for her. She recommended that she recounted that experience. To be honest, I really didn't know what to expect or what this guy was going to ask me. I actually felt more at ease than I thought I would. He wasn't really what I anticipated, but in a good way. The psychologist seemed normal and wasn't some old guy wearing glasses asking me, she laughed, "How does that make you feel?" He asked me questions about my health, family, eating, and exercise history, family medical history, and then about what I knew about weight loss surgery. It was actually pretty conversational. At the end, he asked me if I had any questions for him. And this was the moment where everything changed for me. Amy continued, "I didn't really know what to ask him, so I just blurted out, 'How did I do?'" He smiled slightly and said, "Well, I think you have a good head on your shoulders, but your success will probably not be without struggle. You see, you're a mother and a teacher." Well, I didn't know what to make of that, so I asked, "What do you mean?" And then he said, "I have no doubt you're great at taking care of other people, but not so much yourself." Ouch. No one had ever really said that out loud like that. I remember tearing up and thinking, this stranger who has talked to me for 40 minutes summed up my entire life in one sentence. Amy recalled this is when the psychologist cautioned her that if she didn't start making herself a priority, not only would the surgery not work for her, she would miss out on so many things with her family. Sarah could relate, me too, on so many levels to Amy's story, and that conversation with her proved to be her own pivotal moment in deciding to fully commit to a healthy future. In interviewing weight loss surgery patients over the years, there have been common themes that have emerged from the thousands of stories that I've heard. You just read a vignette of a conversation between two people wanting to improve their health that reflect some of these themes. One is firmly planted on the road of new health journey, which served to inspire another to begin her own. Unfortunately, it's a common thing for people who live in imbalance by taking care of others end up doing it at the expense of their personal health. Ouch. The people I have worked with are almost always caring, well-intended individuals who strive to meet the needs of the people around them. In this story, the women present present with different versions of being overwhelmed, tired, and practice things consistent with self-neglect. Not coincidentally, this pattern of living has led each to a place where they must do something about their health. The dynamics that they describe typically apply to the bell curve of people I've worked with, including the intended audience for this book. Ooh, I'm going to finish this last little part. How about you? Can you relate to the theme of being overwhelmed? Do you identify with not having time to care for yourself? Have you ever been confused about weight loss methods? Can you recognize the tendency to feel guilty? To feel guilty in doing things for yourself? If you can relate to any of these things, please know that you are not alone. In fact, your story is probably way more normal than you thought. The good news is that there is hope. Know this: you have the ability to overcome your history, to implement behaviors that work toward the betterment of your health for the long term. Great things await. Wow. Okay. How about you? Did you have that weird question too when you were told you had to have a psych eval and maybe even say, but I'm not crazy? And just to know that it is a requirement from reputable bariatric surgical teams, that it is something to do. Unfortunately, in Mexico, they may now, but they didn't require it 9 years ago. So that'll be interesting to see. I should find that out, see if that's changed. And ouch for this person who you're only talking with for a short amount of time, to be able to say something like, I have no doubt you're great at taking care of other people, but not so much for yourself. Ow, that is so true. What else? And I love that he said straight out to her, if she didn't start making herself a priority, not only would the surgery not work for her, she would miss out on so many things with her family. I think that was the driving force for me to finally decide to do something for my health as well, that I saw that I was missing out on a lot of things. I was that person on the sidelines. I was that person behind the camera. Yeah, that was definitely an ouch thing for sure. Where was the other thing that was an ouch? Planted on the road. Oh, unfortunately, it's a common thing for people who live in imbalance by taking care of others and end up doing it at the expense of their own personal health. Yeah, have even fallen back into that 9 years later. Actually, I'm doing much better in the past 2 years, but for a span of time in there, I fell back into that habit. And the questions. What about you? Can you relate to any of these things? Feeling overwhelmed or identify with not having enough time to care for yourself? I really like that he said, if you can relate to any of these, please know that you are not alone. Please know that you are not alone. I'm not alone. We're in this together. We have the opportunity to share this part of our journey with each other, especially in support groups. So helpful to make sure that we're not alone in this journey. And I really, really, really like this last thing. Know this: you have the ability to overcome your history, to implement behaviors that work toward the betterment of your health for the long term. Great things await. I think I have to put that up on my mirror. Great things await. I do have the ability to overcome my history and implement behaviors that work toward the betterment of my health for the long term. I think that needs to go on my mirror because that is just really important. And Monday, we are going to start chapter 1. Yay! So the time is about to go off. There you have it. We have read the introduction and the preface. And next week, we will be starting in the actual chapters. Have a great rest of your day. Have an awesome weekend. And I'll see you Monday. Bye!